Swimming is one of life's most simple pleasures. Taking a cool dip on a warm day is an incredibly satisfying sensation. While most pools, lakes, and oceans are totally safe to swim in, there are the odd exceptions to the rules. Whether it is deadly creatures lying in and waiting under the surface, filthy water that could give you all sorts of diseases, or strong currents that could pull you to your death, there are certain waters that even the strongest swimmers should avoid. Number 10. The River Nile. Sub-Saharan Africa. Africa experiences some of the hottest temperatures on the planet, so taking advantage of a cool swim in a river or a lake might seem like a good idea. It could well be your last though, as these waters are home to one of the most ferocious creatures on the planet, the Nile crocodile. These predators can measure up to 20 feet long and use the murky waters of the Nile to lie in and wait for their unsuspecting prey. These crocs don't just live off the local wildlife, they are responsible for hundreds of human deaths every year. Perhaps that swim doesn't seem so enticing after all. Number 9. Queensland, Australia. Australia is home to some of the most incredible marine life on the planet, but one area you might want to avoid exploring is the ocean off the coast of Queensland. These waters are not only home to sharks, saltwater crocodiles, and the venomous blue-ringed octopus, they are also the location of the deadliest creatures on the planet, the box jellyfish. Certain species of the box jellyfish can have tentacles up to 10 feet in length that contain enough poison to kill a human in 2 to 5 minutes. Sightings of these sea monsters often cause entire beaches to shut for days at a time in order to protect swimmers. Number 8. Bolinas Beach, California. While films such as Jaws and Deep Blue Sea may make you feel petrified to ever go swimming in the sea again, the chances of actually being attacked by a shark are incredibly thin. With that said, taking a dip at Bolinas Beach in California will significantly increase those chances. The beach is part of the Red Triangle and is a hugely popular hunting ground for the greatest predator of all, the great white shark. The sharks are attracted to the area by the large population of sea lions that can often be spotted even from the shore. Number 7. Hanakapiai Beach, Hawaii. Hawaii may sound like the ideal location for a beach holiday, but one area you should avoid at all costs, Hanakapiai Beach. This stretch of coast might look like an idyllic swimming spot, but looks can be very deceiving. The water often seems calm and serene from afar, but underneath the surface there are strong riptides and powerful currents that have claimed the lives of over 80 swimmers over the years. There's even a plaque that warns people to stay out of the water and has the current death toll marked up. Number 6. Amazon Basin, South America. There are many reasons why the Amazon Basin is a dangerous place to swim. The waters are home to the anaconda, the red-bellied piranha, and the electric eel. But the main reason to avoid the rivers and lakes of the Amazon Basin is down to a tiny fish called the candiru. The small fish is part of the catfish family and is also known as the toothpick fish or vampire fish. While the candiru may look perfectly harmless from afar, the fish is known to have a tendency for invading human bodily openings, including the urinal tube. Number 5. New Smyrna Beach, Florida. New Smyrna Beach is famous for its warm climate and great surf, but it also holds another far more sinister title, the shark attack capital of the world. Since record began in 1882, the Smyrna Beach has been the location of over 240 separate shark attacks, and the number is constantly rising. In 2008 alone, an incredible 24 shark bites and attacks were recorded at the beach. Swimmers and surfers constantly come back to the area though, and there seems to be one very good reason for this. Although a huge number of attacks have occurred, so far none of them have actually been fatal. If you want to swim in safety though, New Smyrna Beach is definitely not for you. Number 4. Lake Victoria, Africa. Judging from this picture, you would be forgiven for thinking that Lake Victoria is a very pleasant and relaxing place to take a swim. Don't be fooled by the calm surroundings and placid water though, as the lake is actually known as the most dangerous body of water in the world. It is estimated that an astounding 5,000 people die in the lake each year. The reasons for the frighteningly high death toll is down to a number of factors. The first is that the lake has a mini climate all of its own, and this can cause extreme changes in weather conditions in a very short period of time. The second is that a huge amount of local people making a living from fishing in the lake, and when the weather changes, these boats often capsize, leaving the passengers stranded with sometimes miles to swim to the shore in incredibly deep and rough waters. Number 3. The boiling Lake Dominica. The dangers posed by this body of water are obvious as soon as you hear its name. As the title would suggest, the boiling lake is just that, a lake that is constantly boiling thanks to the red-hot magma found below its surface. The lake can often look very inviting thanks to the steam slowly rising from the surface, but even the water temperature at lake's edge can reach 82 to 92 degrees Celsius, making any thoughts of a quick swim a very bad idea, unless you want to receive severe burns. Number 2. The Citarum River, Indonesia. It would be very easy to mistake Citarum River for an actual garbage tip, but as hard as it is to believe, there is actually water underneath all the rubbish and waste. The stretch of water in West Java is one of the most polluted rivers in the world, thanks to it being used as a floating rubbish dump by over 500 factories that line its bank. Perhaps the most worrying detail of it all, though, is the fact that the river is the main source of water for thousands of locals who live in the area, with many using it to bathe, clean clothes, and even drink from. Number 1. Lake Karachay, Russia. Lake Karachay may look like a beautiful and pristine place to enjoy a swim, but it could well end up being the last swim you ever take. The lake was used as a dumping ground for nuclear waste in the 1990s and is still considered the most radioactive body water on the planet. And it is still considered the most radioactive body of water on the planet. The levels were so high at one point that just standing next to the lake for 60 minutes would expose you to 600 Roentgen of radiation. When you consider that most humans would die from 500 Roentgens of radiation over 5 hours, you realize just how dangerous the levels were. Huge concrete blocks have now been placed in the water in an attempt to soak up some of the worst radiation, but Lake Karachay is still one of the most dangerous places to swim on the planet.